Rex Ryan's job status has been a topic of conversation all season long, but it really heated up this past weekend, guys, when Rex reportedly used his job status as motivation for his team, saying, "I hear that they're already searching for my replacement. Ride with me, guys." And you know what? The Jets rode with him. They rode with him all the way to a win against the Browns. Gary, let's just take this first. Do you think that the Jets are already searching for his replacement?
You know, I would find that hard to believe that, you know, those things don't stay secret. And to go out there and start searching for his replacement before they've even informed him, you know, that he's not going to be back next year, I don't think that would be the Jets' way of doing things. And I'd really be surprised about that. But I'm not surprised that Rex would use that as a motivational ploy to get his team fired up.
Well, here's the thing, Ross. We hear that said by Rex Ryan, you know, reportedly, and enough people had it, and he didn't deny it, so that you think at least some version of that was true. Right. Do you think that Rex was using that just as a motivational tool for his team, or do you think he is really hearing things and it did agitate him?
My guess is he probably has heard something through the grapevine that somebody associated with the Jets organization has reached out to somebody's agent to ask what their interest might be if the Jets position were to open up. Coaches talk. So if any of that stuff happens, it gets back to him, and somehow, and agents talk as well, because quite frankly, agents don't really care. And so Rex absolutely used that as a motivational ploy because he knows his guys love him. And you know what? They proved on Sunday that they love him, not just with the way they play, because they actually started out pretty slow, and they're lucky that the Browns dropped as many balls they did and had the red zone issues, but you can just tell that the guys love him. In fact, I've yet to hear any coaches, or any players, I should say, and probably coaches as well, that don't love Rex Ryan. That makes it really tough, and a tough position to be John Idzik.
Well, so here's the thing about John Idzik then, right? If you look at what Rex Ryan has done this season, how could you say he hasn't done a good job? Could anyone have expected more than 7 wins with this team? I don't think they could have. I think 7 wins is all you could expect. So, Ross, if they are searching for his replacement, and he is going to be fired, then wasn't it predetermined before this season? Wouldn't they have had already decided, John Idzik, going into this year, that he wasn't going to keep Rex Ryan no matter what?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think most people took the job knowing that you had to keep Rex for at least 1 more year contractually. The owner likes him. And I think Rex Ryan probably had the single hottest seat, maybe aside from Ron Rivera, in the NFL heading into this season. The expectation from all of us was that Rex Ryan would be dismissed after this year so that John Idzik could get his guy. I don't think you can argue that Rex Ryan hasn't gotten the most out of this group, but you can argue that if you're John Idzik, you should be able to pick the person you want to be with.
But see, now, Gary, here's my problem with that, though. If you had to keep the guy for this one season, and he does a good job, which I think we'd all say Rex did, then why all of a sudden is it okay to fire him? Why is the owner making you keep him and then okay with you getting rid of him when he has a good season on what's supposed to be his trial year?
Well, I'll give you the main reason that I believe that Woody did not fire Rex when he fired Mike Tannenbaum is that he had 2 years to go on his contract and would have cost him $6 million to pay off that contract. And he likes Rex to the point that he wanted to give him a chance to stick around. But I think the overriding reason was that he didn't want to pay off that contract. Now, was it fair to a general manager to take this job and say, you have to keep your coach, when the history of the league is this doesn't work? It's always a short-term deal that the general manager winds up bringing in his own coach, and you've basically set the program back a year. Now, I think that Rex has done a really good job this year. Maybe it's his best coaching job. But ultimately, I think that John Idzik wants to go forward with somebody he has worked with in the past, that he is comfortable with, that he puts the ultimate faith and trust in, and that's why I think they're going to make a change.
Is that a right move?
Well, I think that Rex has done nothing to indicate that he shouldn't be the coach going forward. I mean, I think he should be back, but it really goes beyond that. And I agree that I think it was predetermined that unless they went deep into the playoffs, that John Idzik has an easy out to make a change.
Which is such a folly, because there's no coach. Vince Lombardi couldn't get this team deep into the playoffs. That's not the team that John Idzik gave Rex Ryan. And Ross, I think it is such a farce. Whoever coach comes in is walking into much more fertile ground next year with the draft picks they're going to have and with the money they're going to be able to spend in free agency than the team Rex Ryan had this season. So then John Idzik can look to that coach and say, you know what? Hey, my guy got us 10 wins. Well, you know what? Rex Ryan probably would have got you 10 wins with that team as well.
You're pretty fired up about this, man.
I am.
Well, here's what I would say.
Yeah.
You know, Gary met his wife. I met my wife. They weren't arranged marriages, okay? If you're John Idzik, and this is your only shot to be a GM.
That's right.
You want to be able to pick your wife. I mean, this is like a marriage. It's two people. So I understand John Idzik wants the opportunity. John Idzik's being evaluated by what happens in the next couple of years. He wants the opportunity to at least pick his partner. He doesn't want it to be an arranged marriage. Now, so I think you can make that argument. And I understand if Idzik says, hey, I want my guy. The owner made me keep him for a year. He had a decent year, but not good enough. But the other argument I think you can make is if you keep Rex for one more year, then theoretically you'd think that Woody Johnson will allow John Idzik to get his own head coach at some point. So maybe you can make the argument that John Idzik is buying himself another year if he gives Rex Ryan another year, because then Idzik has the opportunity to hire the general manager.
Hey, I still haven't hired my own guy,
Right.
Woody.
Here's the thing, though. If Rex is back next year, it can't be on a one-year extension, because then they're just going to go through the same thing again next year. If he is back, it means that Idzik has signed off on Rex to be his coach in the long term, and I just don't think he's ready to do that. One thing, addressing your point of, if the new coach comes in and Rex has left it in better shape, etc. Rex Ryan got to the AFC Championship game his first 2 years with a team that Eric Mangini helped to build. Eric Mangini left Rex a lot of talent in 2009, so it works both ways here.
Well, but here's the thing. It does, no doubt, he did, but for whatever reason, Rex Ryan gets saddled now with the personnel. Have you noticed this? The bad personnel. Well, Rex Ryan helped bring in this bad personnel. Why the head coach? Why do we put in the head coach? Mike Tannenbaum was the one.
No, because Rex had a lot to say with the personnel decisions.
Good. It's the GM's job to say no if you don't like the personnel. If the GM doesn't have the gall to do that, then that's the GM's fault. And here's the other thing, Ross. I want to get your take on this. Geno Smith, he's looked a little better the last couple of weeks, right?
Sure.
He's developed more. Do you want to overhaul Marty Mornhinweg and get a new offensive coordinator in here, or do you want to take the steam that's built at the end of the season and try and keep that intact for the young quarterback?
I don't know that there's that much steam. I mean, this is
not enough to protect.
This is not like, oh my gosh, we can't mess with the Geno Smith, Marty Mornhinweg. I mean, most of his best plays are still when he runs.
So do you think Rex should be gone and John should hire his own guy?
I think he should retain Rex for at least one more year. I'm not of the mindset like Gary that you need to extend. I think this whole idea that coaches can't go into lame duck contracts, I don't understand that.
I just don't think it would be the same distraction next year that it's been this year.
It's been such a bad distraction that they've overachieved.
Yeah, it's such a bad distraction that they're 7-8 with a rookie quarterback that's had some of the worst games I've ever seen with my two eyes and no wide receivers to speak of.
So you think he will be gone?
I'll say this. I think he should be back, but I think he will be gone.
You think he should be back and he will
I don't
be?
know. I think he'll be back.
All right, you know what? I don't think he'll be back, but I think he should be. He, with a rookie quarterback, has lost some games on the road, but they're 6-2 at home this year. I think John Idzik should think about that.